Hello class! Welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Alan Shane at your service. Thank you so much class for choosing Alan Shane's tutorial for you to be able to know more about accounting. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. In today's discussion, we will talk about the adjustments for deferrals. We are now in our step 5 in the accounting cycle. So, entities often make expenditures that benefit more than one period. Then these expenditures are generally debited to an asset account. And at the end of each accounting period, the estimated amount that has expired during the period or that has benefited the period is transferred from what? From asset account to an expense account. Therefore, let's discuss these prepaid expenses. When we say prepaid expenses, take note that these are assets. When we say prepaid expenses, these are assets and not expenses. Assets and not expenses. This is also an expenditures, example supplies, rent, and insurance. At the end of the accounting period, a portion or all of these prepayments may have what? Expired. It's because this is considered as an asset. The portion of an asset that has expired becomes what? Expense. Expire either with the passage of time or through the use and consumption. So, let's summarize again what is prepaid expense. So, when we say prepaid expense, these are assets. Assets siya, not expenses. Examples, supplies, rent, and insurance. And at the end of the accounting period, a portion or prepayments may have expired. The asset that has expired will become an expense. And the prepaid expenses expires either what? Through the passage of time or through use and consumption. So here, we have cost of insurance, policies, and supplies that will benefit future periods. So from here, it is considered as an asset. So we can see it to the balance sheet. So assets, under assets, the prepaid what? Insurance and the supplies. Then, an insurance or the supplies, an insurance expire and supplies used. So, when an insurance expire, and supplies used, therefore, it will go to the income statement. Income statement under what? So we have revenues here. So under the expenses. So insurance expense and the what? Supplies expense. Okay. Now, if adjustments for prepaid expenses are not made, so kapag hindi tayo nag-adjust at the end of the period, what will happen? Both the balance sheet and the income statement will be misstated. It's because, diba, prepaid expenses is considered as an asset. But at the end of the accounting period, so there should be an expiration. And the portion of an asset that has expired becomes an expense. That is why if it is not made at the end of the period, ang adjustments, so both the balance sheet and the income statement will be misstated. First, the assets of the entity will what? Overstated. Kasi hindi na-expire, hindi natin na-record ang expiration, and the expenses of the company will be understated. Okay, now let's proceed to transactions for adjustment. It is also the continuation of the transaction analysis that we already discussed in our previous video. So here, what will happen? On May 1, the gala wedding paid 8,000 pesos for 2 months rent in advance. So this expenditure resulted to an asset consisting the right to occupy the office for 2 months. So a portion of the asset expires and becomes an expense each day. So by May 31, so gagawa natin ha, on May 31, anong adjustments? On May 31, 1/2 of the asset had expired and should be treated as an expense. Therefore, in the transaction, so expiration of what? Expiration of 1 month's rent. So, here, when there is an expiration of 1 month's rent, assets should be decreased, and also the owner's equity decrease. So, decreases in assets are recorded as what? Credits, and decreases in owner's equity are recorded as debits. So, when we say decrease in assets, so debit ay credit, and decreases in owner's equity is debit. Therefore, the journal entry is rent expense. Rent expense and credit prepaid rent because nag-expire na ang rent after a month. Worth how much? 4,000. It's because 1/2 of the asset has expired. So, 1/2 of 8,000 is 4,000. Now, let's proceed to prepaid insurance adjustment B. The gala wedding acquired a 1-year comprehensive insurance coverage on the service vehicle and paid 14,400 pesos. Now, in a manner similar to the prepaid rent, prepaid insurance offers protection that expires daily. So, the adjustment is analyzed and recorded as follows. So, expiration again. So, transaction, expiration of 1 month's insurance. So, what will happen? There is an asset decrease and owner's equity also decrease kasi nag-expire na yung prepaid insurance. Then, when the asset decrease, therefore, credit and debit. So, the journal entry should be insurance expense. It's because na-expire na si insurance, kaya we have to debit the insurance expense worth 1,200. Paano kinuha si 1,200? It is 14,400 na premiums for 1 year divided by 12. So, we can get 1,200 and credit what? Prepaid insurance of 1,200. Okay? So, next. These are the adjustments for deferral. So, we have another adjustment letter C. Adjustment letter C, the supply. So, on May 8. The gala wedding purchased supplies worth 18,000. During the month, the entity used supplies in the process of performing services. So the transaction here is the consumption of supplies. Consumption of supplies. Diba, bumili siya ng supplies on May 8, 18,000. And during the month, the entity used supplies in the process of performing for the services of the client. So there is no need to account for these supplies every day since the financial statements will not be prepared until the end of the month. So at the end of the accounting period, the gala makes a careful physical inventory of the supplies. The inventory count showed that supplies costing 15,000 pesos on hand. So during inventory, there is a 15,000 are still on hand on supplies. Now, the analysis is asset should be decreased and also owner's equity decrease. When asset decrease, credit. When owner's equity decrease, debit. Therefore, the journal entry is supplies expense worth how much? 3,000. Because, diba, nag-purchase ng supplies worth 18,000 but at the end, there is, during the inventory count, there is a 15,000 still on hand. Therefore, ang nagamit natin is 3,000. So, supplies expense, 3,000. It is 18,000 less 15,000. And credit, what? Supplies. Worth 3,000. So, that's it for our discussion in the adjustments for deferral under the prepaid expenses. So, we will also have our next discussions about adjustments in depreciation of property, plant, and equipment. So, thank you so much, class, for listening. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. God bless, class. Thank you.